We're live with another episode of BS Busters. Thank you for joining us. We're getting started a little bit early tonight, but hey, man, it's early starter, late finisher. Anyway, that being said, let's get it started. But before we go any further, I would like my co-host to introduce himself.
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right,
This
good,
is
good.
Kenoshi Abominito. Glad to be here on another one of these BS Busters.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. And it's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. We're getting started a little bit early today, but mostly because, like I said, people got stuff to do. Before we go any further, Kenoshi, what have you been playing?
I've just been playing Baldur's Gate 3. Played today with a friend of mine. We found we're still in Act 1. Um, we found a cursed all right. We found a cursed book
Uh,
and we were going through yeah, we were going through that side mission today.
okay.
So
All right. All right.
yeah.
I have not been playing Baldur's Gate 3. I've been playing Dragon's Dogma 2. Um, I've just basically been wandering around the world. I downloaded a mod that disabled the timer on missions so you could actually have more time to do them. So I've just been wandering around the world, beating up monsters, becoming more powerful, all that type of fun
Yeah.
shit. Um, I yeeted. I was in the part of the game where the beast people live, and there's like a volcanic area. And I was fighting a group of goblins, and then there was this little goblin who was just like, I don't feel like swinging my sword, so I picked his ass up and threw him into some lava. Like, yeah, I yeeted his ass into some lava and killed him. Like, fuck you, Steve. Yeah. I mean, that's a way to end a fight, real quick. Um, I've also been playing. Well, I've been installing a new. I've been installing a new mod, heavily modded version of Fallout New Vegas because I watched the TV show and it gave me a hankering for more Fallout. So I'm like, you know what? Why the hell not? So you know,
Yeah.
um, I haven't played it yet. Like I started it to get a new um, official list, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play it. Gonna do it again because I love me some Fallout, and Fallout New Vegas is arguably the best Fallout ever made, in my opinion. Quote unquote modern Fallout game. So that being said, let's keep it moving. First topic, the Nindie Direct. Yes, there was a Nindie Direct, and we're going to talk about it. Let me let me go to Google and get a list of Nindie of what was announced. Nindie Direct. Nindie Direct. See, it's Nintendo Indie Direct, but I'm just going to call it the Nindie Direct because that's what they used to call it back in the day before they got all. We can't call it that anymore. I'm like, fuck off. Anyway, here's what was announced. Shit. Huh. I seem to have closed the window. Copy link, copy link. Open that shit in the new. Paste and go. All right. Yeah, I agree. Whatever. Okay, so here's what they announced. Little Kitty, Big City. If you like cats, it might be for you. It seems to be a game where you play as a cat wandering around doing stuff in a city. You know, I'm not a cat person, so I don't. You know, comes out May 9th. So Yeah. I mean, you know. Thoughts? Sounds interesting. Don't give a shit.
Nah, I don't care.
All right. Next game, Yars Rising, made by WayForward. So it's basically taking the Yars Revenge premise, which, if you don't know, Yars Revenge was it was a what's it called? It was a Atari game where uh, you essentially had this barrier that was constantly being chipped away by your adversary, which was this giant monster creature, and you had to basically fight your way inside of it and then destroy its core, while also doing it before it destroyed the barrier protecting your home. The creature that was doing this was called Yar, and hence it was called Yar's Revenge. Blah 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 blah. This game is only loosely based on that. It's you play a hacker in a dystopian cyberpunk future who her alternate title is Yar, and she's basically like fighting her way through this tower. It's like got sci-fi shit and Metroidvania aspects, and I mean it looks interesting. I mean, WayForward doesn't really make bad games. They make games that might not be to their full potential, but I've never played a WayForward game and been like, this is some bullshit. Thoughts,
Yeah,
sir?
I agree. Sounds interesting. Um, I don't. I mean, yeah, what does make pretty decent games.
Yeah.
I like their. Is it like an 8 or 16-bit inspired game?
No, it's that standard 2.5D 3D models. It looks better than what we got from Metroid Dread though, cuz that game, I'm sorry, that game is ugly as shit. The character models are fine, but Samus is like the environmental models look like shit in that game. I mean, it did not look great. They would have done better going cell shaded or just like 16-bit graphics for that game, in my humble opinion. But do you have any thoughts on it? Agree, disagree, don't care?
Uh, no, I don't have any. I don't have any other thoughts on it.
All right. The next game was Refined Self. You apparently play a robot girl, a wind-up clockwork robot girl, in kind of like a Game Boy Color esque adventure game where you're picking up items and talking to people, and basically apparently it's a personality test game where there's no way to really lose. It just basically the choices that you make are informed by what your own personal personality is. So sounds interesting. I'm not getting it, but to each his own.
Yeah.
Next we have
Yeah.
no. You were about to say something.
No, no, go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right. Next we have
Finish the
Sticky
game.
Business, which is I don't know. This looks like a series of mini games, which I fucking hate mini games. Mini game collections. And it's coming to Switch, Mac, PC alongside its DLC. Players will create stickers, pack orders, and listen to stories. So it's a business management sim with stickers. So I guess that's cool. I guess I don't know, man. I just work here. Um I don't know, man. That's
Yeah, that sounds. I guess if you're into that sort of thing.
yeah. It just sounds kind of underwhelming to me. You know, I'm like, I mean, I'm not really. I'm not really. I mean, like, okay, I'm sure there's an audience for this game. I am not in that audience. And now I know some people say, "Oh, you're a dude, bro. You don't like business management sims." No, I do. There's this game that came out on the Wii and the 3DS called Order Up, where you basically cook. you're a short order cook who cooks his way up to being a master chef, going up against another master chef, and like a cooking competition to create perfect dishes. And that game used motion control, and I loved it. But it also was a business sim where the money that you earned paid for your employees and upgrades for your kitchens. And once you maxed out the restaurant you were working at, you would move on to another restaurant that had higher quality ingredients, higher quality dishes, and more difficult dishes to create. But this is just some stickers, and I just don't particularly give a fuck about stickers. So I haven't cared about stickers since I was a little kid. Next we have Anton Blast, aka the Wario World, the Wario Land game we haven't gotten from Nintendo because they're too chicken shit to make a good Wario game anymore. Just a whole bunch of mini game collections. And yeah, man, this game's basically a Wario game, like an old school Wario game. Like except you play Anton Blast. He goes down to hell to beat the shit out of the devil. And it looks like a Wario Land game, like specifically Wario Land 4, the one that was on the Game Boy Advance, where like after you beat the level, you had to fight your way back to the to the entrance. But
What game is this? Again?
Anton Blast.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, man. If you've been hankering for an old school style Wario game, because we haven't had one in years, because Nintendo just refuses to make one. They keep on making those shitty fucking WarioWare games. Here you go. Someone said, "Hey, I want to play a WarioWare game," but Nintendo's sitting on that IP, and they keep on making shitty WarioWare games instead of Wario Land games. Well, here you go. Anton Blast. It's functionally a Wario game. And apparently they got it running 60 frames per second, which is amazing on the Switch because it's hard for shit to run 60 frames per second on the Switch. Yeah, it's yeah. Next game, Valley Peaks, which it just says 2024 for this. Apparently, you're a frog who climbs mountains. It's in first person. It's a mountain climbing simulator. Plus, you can race and ride hovercrafts and boats and shit and make stuff. I mean, it seems like one of those games that's doing a lot of shit, but none of it is done particularly well because there's too much shit to do. So, it just kind of like maybe like all of these things are done well enough that the sum of everything will be, valid, but I don't know. But it looks interesting.
Yeah.
I might get this on PC if it gets really cheap. I will not be spending buying this on the Switch though. Next, we have Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. It's an adventure. It's a kind of in the vein of a point and click puzzle adventure game. Looks interesting. The premise behind it is a woman summoned by an eccentric man to participate in a project in an old hotel somewhere in Central Europe becomes embroiled in a game of illusions, increasingly dangerous and surreal. Now you are invited to fall into the same rabbit hole in a non-linear mystery with an immense amount of handcrafted puzzles, constantly presenting you with new riddles to solve, each leading you closer to deciphering the enigma of Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Well, I mean, I don't know if the game is good, but that synopsis is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Next we have Europa, which I don't know. This game looks like someone really liked Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I'm
Sure
getting
it's
some
kinda
Breath of the Wild vibes from this shit. Yeah. Next, for those of you who are TMNT fans, a game that's been ported over from the Apple Arcade, so you know it's some overly simplified, casualized bullshit. This is basically a four-player roguelike co-op game where you fight your way through dungeons, then die, and what you unlock as you the currency that you get as you go through the levels, you then spend to upgrade your turtles, and it's got all four turtles. Uh, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo. They're all here. I'm a TMNT fan, but I just like the fact that this was some over casualized shit that was on Apple Arcade. I'm kind of like not really feeling it, if you get my drift. Because games that come from Apple Arcade tend to be so like what they have to give up in order to get that shit to work on iPhones. Like the last Shantae game was an Apple Arcade. Not the last one, the one before that. A Half Genie Hero was an Apple Arcade exclusive for like 6 months, and that game was just fucking trash. Like it was overly simplified, and there was like it was so simplified that it wasn't even fun to play. Um,
Yeah.
and it was missing a lot of stuff. But this looks interesting. I might get it on PC, not on the Switch. Um, and I mean, it's coming out July. I mean, I am a TMNT fan. It's got all the. It's made by some random group of developers called Super Evil Megacore, which is just fucking creepy, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like the premise of the game is Splinter's been kidnapped, so you've got to go rescue him because he's forced ghosting his spirit to his sons to tell them to guide them from being tortured and kidnapped. So it seems like they're going with the original, like the plot line of the first arc of the TMNT comic books and movie. The old movie back in the day, the one that came out in 1989-90. So that's cool. Uh, I might get this because I am a TMNT fan, but whatever.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Are you a TMNT fan or do you not give a shit?
I think it could be cool, but or I think it. Well, I don't know. Yeah, like you said about that Shantae Hero game.
Yeah, the fact that it was on the Apple Arcade, I'm kind of like, I'm gonna wait and see. I'll take a wait and see approach to it because that shit's too overly simplified for me. Ugh. Cat Quest 3. Yeah. This game is Cat Quest 3. It's I
Another
played.
cat game.
Yeah, it's the game that's like an action. It's kind of a Diablo like, where you have an overworld where you kind of fight enemies on the overworld, but really you go down in dungeons and get artifacts and weapons and shit and upgrade your character. The first game you played as a cat. The second time you could play as a cat or a dog. And I think this one they might add the dog back as DLC or whatever, but you're fighting rats and shit. So like pirate, because it's a pirate themed game. So pirate, get it? And you also get your own ship, so you can have ship to ship combat. This game looks like it could be fun. Don't let the Cat Quest games, don't let the cute aesthetic fool you. Those games can get kind of hard because you can like the game doesn't have adaptive difficulty. So if you fuck around and go into the wrong areas, you'll get the shit kicked out of you. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah. Like it's like, oh, I'm just gonna go in this dungeon. Oh, I know it says it has 2 stars over it, but I know I'm only level 5. I can do it, and you go in there and like fuck around and find out, get the shit kicked out of you. It's like, oh, I made a mistake. I may have made a terrible mistake. um. Next we have Stitch, which I mean, it looks like those Sokoban games where sorry, P-Cross games where you paint by the numbers in order to uncover an image. Except
Yeah.
in Stitch, you're not painting, you're sewing. It's virtual sewing. So, eh. I mean, I know. I don't know. That's the next game. Bzzd. You play as a tiny little robot. You with apparently you have no weapons. You just kind of can dash in the air. But the cool thing is that you can use environmental objects in the game in order to defeat your enemies. So, I guess that's kind of cool. Um, that's about it. It looks interesting. I'm not really. This could be good. That's all I'm gonna say. I think I played a demo of this game back in the day, or a game like this that was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. Um, and it's coming summer, so meh.
Yeah.
Next we have Shim, where you play as a creature that jumps from shadow to shadow. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, it's like, are you some kind of like necromancer or something?
No, no, no. It's like you're this tiny little creature that can jump from shadow to shadow. So objects, people. It's just a.
Oh,
It's an interesting premise. Um, I probably would be. It would probably be more interesting if you play it as a what's it called? Um, if it was 3D versus 2. Isometric view 2.5D, but I mean,
yeah,
you gotta take what you can get. Like these are
yeah,
indie developers; they don't have that type of money. But it looks interesting. It comes out July 18th. Um, eh, I don't know what else to say. It looks, you know. Next we have Animal Well, where it's a pixelated kind of Metroidvania type game where you play as a little tiny slime creature fighting other creatures. This game should definitely have epileptic seizure warning because it's got a lot of bright flashing lights and interesting colors.
yeah.
But this is also coming to everything. This is coming to PC, console, other consoles. Next game is Duck Detective. It's a detective game where you play a duck. The duck use the powers of deduction. Get it?
Yeah.
Uh, looks interesting. Some Phoenix Wright shit right here. Next we have
Likewise.
Another Crab's Treasure. It's that game that has a crab who got his shell repossessed, and now he's gonna go and get the shit back by beating the shit out of people. Looks interesting. It's coming to everything though. It's coming to PC, console, other platforms, etc., etc. Of course, the big announcement at this is SteamWorld Heist 2. Um, yeah. Apparently, this time, last game you played as Captain Piper in space. This time you're playing Captain Lanning, and he's a one-armed privateer, which I mean, he's already at a disadvantage because he only has one arm in a game where you have to shoot people. Seems kind of interesting. Um, sorry, Captain Leeway. So it looks kind of it looks interesting. Apparently, there's ship to ship battles in this game as well. Apparently, you're back on Earth because in a you're in a ship with like a steam powered ship with like in the ocean and shit. So I don't know, like in SteamWorld Heist 1, the major currency in that game was water. Because water was such a precious commodity. So I'm not sure what the new currency will be in the new game, considering you're on Earth where there's tons of water. So I don't know. But it looks interesting. Um, so I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, we haven't seen a new SteamWorld game in a while, have we?
No, there
We
was
haven't seen
SteamWorld
anything.
Build, the one that like
SteamWorld Build?
it came out last year. It's the game that on the surface seems like a city builder, but then you have to fight underground where like the out of control robots and crazy humans that are left try and fight for supremacy. So you have to defend yourself. That game. It didn't do that. It reviewed in the 70s. Like every other SteamWorld game has reviewed in the upper 70s, 80s, 90s. This one was the lowest reviewed one, which doesn't really mean anything because Rotten Tomatoes, you can be in the high 50s and still be certified fresh. So that's not really that. Like, here's the thing: if you scored in the high 50s in any other circle, that's an F. But Rotten Tomatoes, oh, you're still fresh. I'm like, no, no, no. That's a bad movie.
Yeah.
But there you go, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's I think what the only one I played was with the female robot.
Yeah, that was SteamWorld Heist.
Um yeah, I played that one. I was I mean when I played it it was pretty fun. I think I got it for the Switch. I never beat it. I never beat any games I play these days because
Other
play
shit
games
comes
for
out
a
that takes your
while and
time.
then some. Yeah, and I also have other hobbies too. So you know, it's what it is. But
Yeah.
I tend to most this like if I really sink into a game or get lost into a game, half the time it's something really old that I've already played. I don't know why that is. Just it just tends to be what happens. Or I'll tend to play an older game uh, that went through a modification, like one of those SNES or NES mods.
That's fair. Like I don't play as many games as I used to, and I find myself going back to older shit rather than playing a lot of new shit these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like like I played Starfield and I beat it like two or three times with the new thing, and then I lost interest because I was like, well, I'm waiting on the creation kit to come out so that modders can add new content, which they have added a lot of new content. Um, and then let's see what else. I've been playing Dragon's Dogma, but Dragon's Dogma is not the type of game where you sit down and you play 6-7 hours of it. Dragon's Dogma is the type of game where you play like maybe an hour and then you take a break and go do something else.
Yeah.
At least for me. However, I have been a fan of the Image and Form SteamWorld games for a while. So I started playing them back in the day when it was SteamWorld Chronicles, which was like a tower defense game, and then SteamWorld Dig, and then SteamWorld Heist, SteamWorld Dig 2, SteamWorld Quest, which is an RPG, a card battle RPG. I haven't gotten SteamWorld Build yet. I'll probably get that sometime in the near future. But I've been a huge fan of that franchise. So, and I've beaten all those games. Like the first SteamWorld Dig, I enjoyed. SteamWorld Heist, I think, is pretty good. It's a really like it's a strategic uh, strategy turn based combat game where you're like going into ships and like stealing shit and defeating enemies, shooting their hats off so that you can add them to your hat collection, and killing enemies, and picking up treasure so that you can take that treasure and kit out your things. In the new game, apparently, instead of having specific hard classes for your characters, like in the previous game, like a character was a sniper and all they could do was snipe shit. Like they're like they were stuck with that class. now apparently you can change character classes, and as you unlock abilities for those character classes, you can swap those abilities out. So you can basically build a character up to be whatever the fuck you want, which sounds pretty cool. Um, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But that's my own personal opinion. Thoughts?
Them to
Um,
masturbate.
All right.
No, I don't have any thoughts on it.
Okay. We'll keep it moving. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna give my overall thoughts for the Nindie presentation. I give it a C.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say because a lot of the shit they announced, I don't really give a fuck about. The stuff they did announce that I care about. It's not aimed at me at my particular demographic. The stuff they do care about is not solely on the Switch. I think like 95% of the shit they announced that I am interested in is also coming to other platforms. So, like these days, I judge any presentation for any of these consoles, whether it be PC, these platforms, whether it be PC, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. You have to make me want to buy your shit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is absolutely nothing that made me want to buy. Or at least you have to, if I already have your system, which I have all three systems, you have to give me a reason to turn on my console. You have not given me a reason to turn on my Switch.
Yeah.
So, I know some people say, well, didn't you get the special edition, the Primo Pro special edition of Unicorn Overlord? Yes, but I played the game on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those bastards. So it's all those games are also coming on other platforms where they run better, and or they're coming to PC where they run better and I can mod them. So it's like, Steam World Heist 2, amazing. I'm looking forward to that game, but I mean it's coming to PC.
Yeah.
I don't have a reason. Why would I play that on the Switch where it's probably going to have frame rate issues when I can play it on the PC?
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about that. Fallout. Oh wait. Do you have a grade you'd give this direct?
Um, I think I would probably give it about the same that you did. Like I said, I don't. Anytime there's an indie direct, I wouldn't go with the high expectations. So about a C. I wouldn't go because thing is, it's not like indie games are bad. They're obviously smaller, working with a lot more limitations.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it's gonna be based on creativity. Um, but yeah, I think it's fine. It's nice to see that the Switch is coming out with more stuff, even though it's winding down. But
all right, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Um, I mean, if all you have is a Switch, you're gonna have shit to play. So for those people who all they have is a Nintendo console, they're gonna be fine. But for people who have a lot of options, there's better options out there. That's all I'll say. Um, you know, if you're a heterosexual male and the only chick around is a really fat chick, but she's single, hey man, you do you, bro. But I got options. Okay? I got options. That being said, let's keep it moving.
people be out here starving. That's for sure.
I mean, when you're thirsty, you're thirsty. You got to do what you got to do. What else am I saying? Um, let's see. What am I looking forward to? But enough about that. Time to talk about Fallout New Vegas. Sorry, Fallout the TV show. So Fallout the TV show. I powered my way through it. Actually, I'm not going to say that. I enjoyed watching every episode. It caught me in the first part of it, and it just got better as time went on. I've been enjoying this TV show. And initially, here's the thing. Initially, when I first started watching, I'm like, that's not Fallout. That's not Fallout. But then I kind of let that go, and I started getting into it. And what helped me get into this show is that I stopped looking at it as this has to be like the video game, and seeing Fallout as what they're basically pegging it as. This TV show is a Western.
Mm.
It's a Western with three protagonists, or should I say, deuterogonists. Each of them are on the spectrum. You have a ghoul, which ghouls in Fallout are people who were exposed to too much radiation, and it mutated them into long-lived creatures that uh, just live a long ass time. Um, and can heal from radiation heals them. But if they're exposed to too much radiation, they go feral and they just attack everything and anything. Um,
Yeah.
so it stars a ghoul, a girl who's a vault dweller who her father's been kidnapped. Hey, stop me if you've heard this before. This Fallout story. Your father's been kidnapped and you've got to go outside of the vault and rescue him. Emil Paglarillo came up with that fucking shitty ass story suggestion. And a Brotherhood of Steel. This kid who has been grown up in the Brotherhood of Steel, who's a real piece of shit. Like he's a dick. He's a real piece of shit human being. Over the course of the series, he becomes a hero. But he starts out, it's like, man, I don't have any hope for you. Like zero hope for you as a human being. But yeah, man, I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it a lot. And I like, as much as I'm enjoying season 1, I want to see what they can do with a season 2. Because they haven't introduced Death Claws, and I don't think they've introduced super mutants yet. And you can't have Fallout without super mutants and Death Claws. that moment, oh shit, it's a Death Claw. Yeah, hearing Death Claws run after you in the game, in the 3D games, except Fallout 4, but Fallout 3 and New Vegas, hearing Death Claws before you see them and having them attack you, you being underpowered with your weaponry, so you shoot them and it doesn't do shit except piss them off. Yeah, man. So my spoiler-free rating, without going too in depth in the series, is it's a must watch. You know, and it's on streaming, so you don't have to go anywhere or do anything. You can watch a episode a day if you so choose, and have Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So that being said, yes, 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.
That's good. Good to hear. I mean, there's been a resurgence of video game movies and properties showing up in like television and movies the past couple of few years. To a uh, mixed bag of perception, but it seems like they're gaining a little bit of credibility versus back in the 80s and 90s, at least.
All right.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Could you repeat that, please?
Oh, I said there seems like a resurgence of movies, television show. You know, like no resurgence of like video game TV and movies that have come out in the past few years that has gotten mixed reception, but it seems like they've gained a little more credibility compared to years past.
I do think there's a level of uh, rehabilitation, for lack of a better word, of certain genres of certain games. Um, I think. All right. Um, you know, maybe. I have like I think a lot of people are going back and taking second looks at certain games and saying that wasn't that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I think people are going back and saying looking at a lot of shit. And I think that looking at things from a like cuz a lot of people looked at things when they first came out and they were reactionary, right?
yeah,
Versus having a more even-tempered, more critical eye where they're like, okay, in the grand scheme of things, you know, because people felt the same way about Cyberpunk 2077. They're like, this game is terrible. I'm like, it's not that bad. It's not great. You know, like the game is what it should have been like 4 years after it came out with the Phantom Liberty expansion, all that shit. That should have been what the base game was. But it was clear to me that CD Projekt Red was spending resources on bullshit that didn't matter versus, you know, on shit that did matter. You know, which happens, you know?
yeah,
You know, because if you look at the details of that game, you can see where they put the work in. They just spent it on the wrong shit, you know?
yeah,
You know, like the opening of that game, you walk up and you literally look in the trash, and the trash looks like the trash is so well um like it's so detailed. It's like, my god, this trash looks amazing.
yeah. That's crazy that they spent all their budget on the trash. They're
No,
spending a lot of
no,
their budget on the trash.
no, they didn't spend their budget on the trash. What I'm saying is that the people who made the game put a lot of work into the details,
Yeah,
but they spent so much of their time, you know, because budget isn't just your money, it's your time. Time that should have been spent on other aspects were spent on things that most people weren't going to pay attention to. Like, most gamers aren't going to go and look in the garbage can in a video game. You know, not that I'm not going to appreciate someone, you know, making trash look good in a video game. I'm just saying, when I'm playing a video game, I'm not thinking, oh man, look at that trash over there. Oh man, that trash. That trash is so realistic. Look at the roaches on it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, that's CD Project Red is known for. Has been known for years. It's like these high end, graphically intensive games. Like I think when when the first game came out back in like I think it was like 2007, 2008. I don't think there's a lot of computers that can run it. Well, affordable computers that can run it.
Plus, it didn't run all
And
that well.
plus The Witcher 2 that was definitely another example of you needed to spend real money to get that game to play it the way it needed to be played. I know there was a feature on that game called Uber sampling, which took up a hell of a lot of resources on mid-range cards at the time. So yeah, it's just something they've always been known for. I know Witcher 3 was a benchmark for a lot of graphics cards for a while, and in some cases still is. Uh, so they they just wanted to keep up with that standard, and I know it didn't really work out for them this time. At least not at the beginning.
No, it did not. No, it did not. Although I will say this, I still say one of the best. Um, I still say one of the best. One of the best benchmark games is still, hands down, in my opinion, Crisis.
Yeah.
Because they re-released that game, and it's like, oh, does it run Crisis? Like, oh, this shit don't run Crisis. Oh, fuck this shit.
Yeah, it still melts my high end cards. Yeah. Well, the remastered one
Yeah,
still melts.
yeah, man. I mean, you might be able to play the old one, but the new one, shit. Does it run Crisis? No, then get the fuck out of here. I don't care. My graphics card is amazing, but does it run Crisis though? Sit your ass down. You don't run Crisis. Um, yeah, man. I just, like, in my humble opinion, I think that a lot of people just don't understand that gaming is not what it used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And gaming, like, let me put it this way: gaming has never been bigger.
That's true too. Whereas there's so many different sort of games out there to play that makes me wonder why people still make fun of the hobby. Like it's about as lucrative as music, movies. Like there's so many different kinds of things to play for different audiences. It's not, you know, at so many different age levels too. So it's really weird.
All right. Anyway, that's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just how I feel. You know, some people will agree, some people will disagree, but that's my opinion. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Next topic. Next topic. So, uh, having played, having watched the Fallout TV show, I'm probably going to rewatch it again. It gave me a hankering to play my favorite modern Fallout game. Not Fallout 4, not Fallout 3, not Fallout 76. Definitely not Fallout 76. I'd rather stick a rusty spoon in my eye and dig out my eyeball than play Fallout 76. It's it's Fallout New Vegas, um, which, in my opinion, is the best quote unquote modern Fallout game. What I mean by this is it's the best modern Fallout game in that it has a decent story, interesting characters, perhaps the best expansion content we've seen in this series. And, it just has a lot of the ideal things that I would like in a Fallout game. But, there's always a but. There's a big but in there. And the big but is it's still not my ideal Fallout game. There's still some things that I would like to see. Um, But before I go any further, this is the segment where we talk about what our idealized Fallout game would be. Go ahead, sir. What would you like to see, either Bethesda or Obsidian, since they're now both owned by Microsoft? Would you like to see in an idealized Fallout game?
I like to see a maybe a Larian style turn-based RPG rather than what Bethesda's been doing. That
You
could be that could be interesting.
you'd want to see it what?
Choices and real a Larian style turn-based RPG game.
So you want it more
Um,
Obsidian, like New Vegas, because they ripped that off wholesale from Obsidian, how they made their games, which was Interplay
Yeah.
back in the day, where like there's like 20 different permutations on how to solve a quest depending on what your skills are and how you answer past certain skill checks and shit like that.
yeah, so like um or RPG, turn-based RPG where you would have real choices that actually have real consequences. And
So
you can't be everything to everyone. I know that's what Bethesda game. That's a problem Bethesda games have
yeah, they
had,
want you to
where
be
you can just
almighty.
yeah,
You always have to
a
be
lot of them just
almighty.
being like, well, yeah,
You can either do this or you can do this. Like
but
you can either save this town or side with the bandits. You can't do both. I know the
yeah,
bandits got some sweet ass armor, and the town
yeah,
you'll have a little shack where you can go to sleep. But but guess what? That's too bad. You're not getting it.
yeah. It's like Baldur's Gate. I mean, you can either get the sweet ass armor, but you're gonna have to make some dubious sacrifices to
Some
get
tough choices, yeah.
it. Yeah,
It's like, are you sure you want to do this? Because once you kill them, they're dead.
yeah.
They ain't coming back, man.
Uh, that storyline is dead.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for me, I agree. I think that for me, I would love my idealized Fallout game. I want something that's going to move it forward. I'm tired of right after the bombs drop, like 200 years after the bombs drop. I'm like, y'all got to do something different. Like I think it would be interesting to maybe have, you have Vault Tech, but maybe have someone who left Vault Tech 20 years before the war happened, started up their own company. So they have technology that is comparable to Vault Tech, compatible with Vault Tech technology, but maybe better, more advanced. And their business was going to jump off until the war happened and everything fucked up. You know, it's like something like that. Maybe different playable starting characters because I'm tired of playing as a human. Like maybe you can choose to be a super mutant or a ghoul or a synth
Yeah.
or a cyborg or hell, just a fucking robot. And that would change up like, hey, you're a robot. You leveled up. Your soft stats increased. Like you've gotten better at hacking computers or picking locks. But your hard stats, like how strong you are, how intelligent you are, those don't go up if you're a robot. You have to like install new modules in yourself to raise those stats. And that shit's expensive and rare. You know? That would be cool. But, you know, that's just me. I think that would be a cool Fallout, a cool thing to do in Fallout. Just have like some new shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But you have any thoughts? Agree, disagree, don't care, don't give a shit?
Um, yeah, but those games are boring. They look boring. They look dry. They look slow.
Yeah.
I have no idea why they're as popular as they are, but you know they're popular. So whatever.
Mm.
I don't know why the heck you would get it on console. You're having the least fun there.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, a lot of people who like Bethesda games don't have gaming PCs.
Yeah.
Here's some breaking news. Front Mission 2, which was formerly a Japan exclusive strategy game, is coming to PC this month. It's hitting April 30th.
Yeah.
So there you go. You know, hey, you always wanted to have a giant mech and gun down motherfuckers? Here you go. This is the game for you. Blowing people the fuck up in giant mechs. Yeah, bitches.
One game I'm kind of interested in is that Gundam game. Speaking of giant robots, but it looks like it's gonna be a microtransaction nightmare. So I might just
Yeah, I'm kind of like,
skip it.
yeah, I kind of just don't really. I don't really
It's like
play.
I'm
Yeah.
like I remember seeing a trailer for it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, this looks like a prime opportunity to nickel and dime the hell out of everyone.
Yeah, and if it's is Namco Bandai publishing it?
I don't know.
Because if they are, it's gonna be fucked. Because they love doing that shit. Namco Bandai loves nickel and diming people.
Yeah, it is published by Bandai Namco, so you're gonna get nickel and dime the hell in that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, as soon as they said, "Oh," I'm like, yeah, it's fucked. It's not gonna be good. But like I said, Front Mission's coming back, so you know, it's gonna come out in 12 days, April 30th. So that's gonna be let me check. That's gonna be Tuesday. So yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. I like Front Mission. That's one of my favorite games. And it's got a free demo. Shit. You didn't have to say nothing else, player. I haven't. Now, if only Square Enix would take Front Mission and give us Front Mission 2 Gun Hazard. Because that game's pretty fucking amazing, too. It's a 2D action game where you're in mechs. You can also get out your mech and fight people, but really you don't want to do that because you're squishy as fucking can take. Like, you can die. Like, early on in the game, one shot from enemies kills you. Even, like, little dudes with pea shooters could kill your ass. However, later on in the game, once you once you fully upgrade your character and you move far enough in the game, you eventually get access to handguns that can take out. If you go back to the earlier levels, you can take out mechs with your little handgun. It's ridiculous. It's like, oh, you think you're badass? Kill the guy with your little handgun. Take out a giant mech with a handgun. It's hilarious. Yeah, it is, man. It's very gamified, but I like it. But yeah, so that was my breaking news. Anything else you want to say before we move on to free topic and then unpopular opinion?
Nah.
All right.
No.
Well, here we go. Free topic. This is where we talk about, you know, anything we want to bring up, forgot about.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about this earlier when I was walking. I was like, you know, it's like instead of these companies. Well, I'm surprised these companies haven't thought of creating hiring a bunch of artists to create a AI library in which they can copyright and then just use the AI art to, help make their game. Create a AI repository. It's theirs only, and then they don't have to worry about, you know, then they don't have to. They wouldn't have had to fire everybody,
I mean,
lay off a bunch of people.
I agree with you, but the thing is that even if it does a repository, if it's not their own work, because like first of all, let's get this out the way. When they say this is AI powered, there's no AI involved with this. All it is an algorithm that it's a program that does what you tell it to do. It takes steps out of what you used to have to do yourself. So if you say, "Hey, write me something in iambic pentameter, write me a recipe in iambic pentameter for a cheesecake," all it's doing is following an algorithm. There's no artificial intelligence involved with this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, AI is just a buzz. AI is
it's a
just
buzzword. Yeah, there's no
buzzword,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no true artificial intelligence involved with these algorithms. However, with that being said, they're dumb. They just do what they're programmed to do. If you say, "Make me a picture of a stacked ogre monster girl with 36, 24, 36 measurements," it will fucking do that. But it's gonna make that by stealing art from a whole bunch of other sources to combine that into what you want.
Yeah, that's why you make your own. That's why you would make your own repository, self-design, and then you would, you would license it. You would connect it to a, already established AI apparatus, and then you would make your own stuff out, out of the artwork repository
No,
that you already have, and we already know, plus Ubisoft and all these companies that have been around have a ton of artwork.
that
I'm
is
sure
true.
they have stored.
But it's
So
their
kind of,
artwork. Like
yeah,
even if you have a repository and it's basically create, you still have to. It's still taking artwork that wasn't created by that particular. An amalgamation of other people's art is not new art.
no, it is no. I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's. I don't know. The whole AI thing is going to be a bit of a mess when it comes to licensing. I know
Yeah,
there's some AI music generation stuff that's coming out,
yeah.
and or not coming out, but is out. That
I think it's
looks
called
like it looks
Zune or like
duo
Singy
or
or
something
something
like.
like that. Yeah.
It looks some of that stuff looks really fun to play
Oh
with,
yeah,
and
but
definitely will provide a lot of sampling potential, but
that is
might
true.
cause some problems.
But I think that's a little bit different because the thing is like, okay, unless you're riffing on popular music or like copyrighted themes, like if you take a piano and you play Beat It on piano, the Michael Jackson estate can't sue you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like that's a different kettle of fish. So music is because basically human beings have been using the same music for the last 200 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like anybody's created a series of new chords. Like,
No.
you know, piano has 12. I mean, all a piano is like has 12 repeating notes
Yeah.
in very
Of
different
different
octaves,
octaves, yeah.
and
Yeah.
it goes from in the scale goes from A to
G,
F, I believe, or G.
I believe.
Yeah, somewhere around that. So it's not like anybody's writing new chord. Like I was listening to, um, I don't even remember the saying. It was a French. It's a French piano piece, super popular. I was listening to somebody play it, and it's like I've heard parts of this in various video games, animes, movies. Like people will sample uh, piano pieces and old piano pieces in their work. So
Yeah.
that's another thing about sampling. It's not like it's new. Like people have been doing it even before rap music.
Yeah, so the piano scales go from C to G.
D2D, yeah,
C to G. Um, and then there's like the variations of those because of you can change the pitch and the depth of those particular scales using the floor, uh, the lower panel, the three lower panels. So, but anyway, um, 12 scales, blah 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 blah. Yay, whoop de doo. C D E F
yeah,
G A and B overall, and then the
yeah,
variations thereof. But my point is this, okay? Like, you can't sue someone for using for like because I've seen this thing where people create entirely new songs using an AI thing. That's not the same thing as taking someone's artwork that they made specifically for something and then stealing that shit, changing it like combining it with someone else's artwork that neither of what you created, and then saying the new shit I created, this is mine. It's like no.
yeah, and people, and it's obviously a problem because people recognize the fact that they're that the AI generated stuff is using other people's stuff. Like people are like catching on to it. It's not good enough for to hide the fact that it's using other people's stuff.
No, no. I mean, it's just it basically at this point, if you're using AI to write a paper or create artwork or do stuff like that, what you're doing is a sophisticated form of plagiarism.
Yeah,
That's what you're doing.
I mean, this is gonna be an
Yeah.
oversimplification, but it's like
Now I know what.
Microsoft.
No, go
It's
ahead.
like
Sorry.
Microsoft. It's like Microsoft Access except Ultra Instinct version. Like
Yeah, yeah,
obviously it's on massive steroids
yeah.
compared to
Well,
Microsoft Access,
I
but
mean, people are gonna get mad at me because they're like, well, why do you say it's different for music? Because let me explain why it's different from music. Because people have been sampling other people's songs for a long time, and they just paid a royalty and they use that sample.
yeah,
That's just like, for example, if you were just a beginning musician and you had a synthesizer electronic keyboard, and you just use a canned beat that was in the synthesizer, and then wrote something original over that, you're not stealing. It was included to use as a tool for you to use your music. Because not everyone is musically inclined to create something completely from scratch.
yeah.
Different
I have a,
animal. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Some of the software I have templates.
Yeah, you
Um,
have a template for whatever. There's nothing inherently wrong with using the template if you don't have the skill. Like not everyone, like me, I can't play the piano. I can finger it a bit, which sounds a little dirty. I can finger a piano a little bit, but I mean I can't
yeah,
play the piano. Now, if you want someone to play the guitar, if you want someone to sing, if you want someone to play the saxophone or any reed instrument, I'm your guy. I can do that. Piano, I can do chopsticks. You want me to do chopsticks?
yeah,
But my point is this. You know, I was like, "Oh, you stole this." I'm like, okay, whatever.
yeah. Yeah, people have been like you said, it's like it goes all the way back to maybe even pre-recorded music where people took pieces of other people's work and just kind of made it their own. Like I saw a video on this where people either consciously or even subconsciously uh, borrowed from other people. Because sometimes if you've ever created your own music, like you'll subconsciously uh, probably have pieces of melodies from music you've already heard. Um, so
Yeah, that makes sense. Like here's the thing that people don't understand because I have, like I said, I was all of my high school career. After school, I was in band my like ninth grade, and then I did the jazz ensemble, and then the blues ensemble my junior and sophomore and senior year. And we had to write our own music. We had to do songs and shit. And if you know anything about blues, blues and jazz are all about copying people, and then you copy it, and then you do your extemporaneous play of that particular riff. Like there's a
Yes.
period where you can do extemporaneous play of whatever the fuck you want, as long as it is with the flow of what the song is. And that's just how it is. Music gets a bit more of a pass about that than art and shit like that. Now, if you're copying,
Was that if you're copying?
yeah, that's it. That's all I had to say. Anything else you want to add before we move on to unpopular opinion?
Well, one thing I'd like to add is like sampling has gotten so crazy now that there's a software on the MPC software, which is a music based software called Stems, where you can completely through an AI system, you can completely tear apart a sample and use each individual instrument within that sample to create something completely and utterly new, um, which I find interesting, which is something I want to dive into more.
All right. Um, Unfortunately, I'm more of a what's the word? I'm a I'm an old school musician. I don't like all that computer shit with my music. I do the old fashioned way. I play the shit and I record it, and find someone who has a fucking studio and then let them record you while you're doing your stuff. So for me, that's just my kind of that's how I play my stuff. But to each his own. Everyone has their own. Hey man, as long as the music is good and people enjoy it, good for them. Um, and you're not plagiarizing people's music. Like what's his name? Shit. Forgot the guy's name. Like
No
Millie
ice.
Vanilli, like Millie Vanilli and Vanilla Ice. It's like
Yeah.
it's like no. See, it's different. It's ding 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 ding. But mine is ding 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 ding. It's like motherfucker, you stole Under Pressure from Freddie Mercury and shit. I forgot his name. Damn. Shit. Now I
I'm
gotta.
surprised what's his I'm surprised what's his name didn't get in serious trouble for stealing from Super Freak.
Who?
Um, don't touch this.
Oh, you
Don't
mean
touch this song.
that because that riff has been in a lot of other shit. Like
Oh,
even before Super Freak, it was
okay.
another shit. It was another shit. Um,
Oh, okay.
Jareth the Goblin King. David Bowie. David Bowie and Freddie Mercury came up with Under Pressure, and he just stole it. It's like, oh no, man, that's.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
right, man.
my shit's different. It's like, but it's not though. You stole that, bitch. You think people are dumb? You think people don't know what you did? He's like trying to play it. Well, actually, no, 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 bruh. Anyway, that's it. Let's keep it moving. Unpopular opinion. Here's my unpopular opinion. It needs to be said. Nintendo's been fucking up with the Paper Mario franchise. Not with the re-release of Thousand Year Door, but like the past Sticker Star, Color Splash, Origami King, trash. All three games, trash. And I dare people to disagree with me. Thoughts, disagreements, don't care.
Yeah. Paper Mario has not. It's definitely not what it used to be. That is for sure.
And I know some people are going to get mad. They're going to be like, oh, how could you say that? Why? Why would you say that? I mean, come on, man. We all know that shit hasn't been good for a long time. Okay? And I don't know, like, the only common denominator I can think of is that the guy who's in charge of it, the director, just fucking hates the fan base. At least, you know, that's the only thing I can think of. I can't think of any other reason why, you know. These games are so bad. Anyway, that's it. Do you have an unpopular opinion you'd like to share before we wrap things up, sir?
No, not this week.
All right. That's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them on the Discord or email me. It's the email link is in the description. We have a podcast on this channel every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Sometimes 9, depending on what the topics are. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, we try to have a cast every week. So yeah, play your games, be creative, rest, stay safe, etc., etc., and peace. Anything you want to pimp out, sir?
Perfect Console every Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
All right. Your music channel, sir?
Oh yeah, SoundCloud, Synaptic Garden. Check it out, and have a good week.
All right. There you go.